Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon or good evening, I guess, depending on when you're watching this. For me, it is morning time, but this video is going to be a little bit different. I recorded a study with me, so whether you're studying for the bar and want someone to commiserate with, or just go through the experience with, that's what this video is for. But yeah, my name is Tyler. I'm a 3L at Columbia Law School, so I'm currently studying for the bar. So I decided to record my day and bring you along with me. So that way we could reflect on the experience, I could show you what's going on, and I could also just commiserate and reflect a little bit. I think, this is such an intense experience that it can be difficult, but I'm starting my day with making coffee, as I always do. It is my favorite part of the day. I feel like, especially when I'm studying or just doing something that I don't really want to be doing, honestly, it helps to have a routine. You can tell that the machine gets a lot of use by all the coffee grounds on the mat. Also, this coffee machine has started just spraying randomly, so that has been a fun new addition. Anyway, I start my day making my coffee. You can tell it's about 9 a.m. I try to start my day around when I will be taking the exam, just so that way I get used to turning my brain on and having that routine, so I'm ready to go. I fully did not clean the counters for this video. You can tell there's paper towels and stuff and clean pots and pans on the stove from the night before, but it's just nice that my brain is used to being awake in the morning because the exam starts so early. So I've been trying to get myself in that mindset, which I'm usually more of a morning studier anyway, because as soon as it gets dark outside, my brain stops working. Also, will say I usually don't add milk to my coffee. I usually just drink it black, but I guess today we were feeling fancy and wanted to spice it up a little bit. It must have been a hard day if I'm trying to add things to make my coffee even better. But and once I'm done making my coffee, I usually make something to eat, just so that way I'm not shaking the whole morning. Some mornings, if I forget to make food, I'll be on my second coffee of the day and my brain is just racing and my hands are shaking. I try to make it a habit to have something with my coffee in the morning. I find it just makes the whole day a little bit better and sets me up for success. I've been doing a lot of yogurt and granola, which honestly I usually don't like yogurt for a snack or breakfast or anything. Sometimes the texture is just so weird. So I've been doing that instead of oatmeal or toast. Honestly, when I'm really down in the dumps, I just make toast with butter and a little bit of salt. It's just the easiest and it always tastes good. We also have been trying out the Kind brand of granola. They have these tiny little blueberries in them, which I thought would be really enjoyable, but they're actually super hard to chew and they hurt your teeth. So we stopped buying it, but the flavor was nice. And then always a little bit of honey. I find Greek yogurt always needs something because it's so tart. But when I cut my bananas, I always just leave the bottom part of the peel unpeeled, and I use it as a mini cutting board. I'm just so lazy, so anything to avoid more dishes, I'm happy to do. So you can steal that life hack. And then I head into the living room where my desk is located. It's nice because it's right next to these big windows and a plant. I love this plant. I've had this monstera for probably 4 years and she's doing really well. She's got new leaves coming out. I did readjust her so the pole is not totally leaning forward. This is my desk setup. It's where I record my videos. It's where I study. It's where I do all my work, take my calls. It's where I'm sitting right now. You can see the post-it notes for my studying, starting to get a little manic. These are the subjects I reviewed with the little dots next to them and what I have to do. You can see the things I need to add to my resume. These are the things I need to review because they are difficult for me. And yeah, while I eat my breakfast and drink my coffee, I usually watch a YouTube video. I am definitely an iPad child, so I need to have something in front of me while I'm doing that. But I like to start my day with that rather than just hopping right into work. Sometimes I just need to give myself a 15 or 30 minute video to get going. And then once that's done, I hop into studying. So today, I'm using Themis. This is not sponsored in any way. Use whatever company you like and works for you or is affordable. They are all so expensive, it's so crazy. I did start a few weeks after the company I'm using, after Themis's recommended start point, right? But I was able to eventually catch up some. I did not finish the whole course. I don't know. At first it was just a lot to do. So at least getting into a rhythm helped a lot. It actually doesn't look as bad as I thought. I was really nervous about recording this video because I don't record myself doing day-to-day things like this normally, where I'm just eating, and you know, a study with me video is essentially just me sitting and staring at a screen or reading or typing. So we have Themis pulled up finally. This is what I need to do today. I'm supposed to make 2% progress, whatever that means. We got some essays, we got some lectures, some multiple choice, LOL 6.9, nice, we love to see it. But starting the day, I am supposed to be reviewing an outline, so I am opening up those files, pulling that up. Honestly, I tried to read through the outlines as much as I could, especially for classes I didn't take, which is many of them. You know, I took classes in law school that I enjoyed and not necessarily ones that would help me with the bar. Evidence was one that is a great example of that. Criminal procedure is another one. I mean, you could essentially say constitutional law I didn't take because my professor was not the best. And so I've taught myself a lot of con law throughout law school, and especially for bar prep. It is what it is. So I'm just going over, trying to absorb anything from these outlines as I get introduced to some new subjects. So also the morning light is so bright. Sometimes it's really nice, sometimes it's a little jarring. Scrolling really fast, you can tell I'm really reading and soaking it up. Honestly, for me, the outlines are not the most helpful, but you know, doing essays and practice problems is a little better. But it counted as 0.4%, so that is one thing. I don't really understand how these companies decide what counts as what. I can watch 2.5 hours of lecture videos and it counts as 0.2%, or I can scroll through an outline and it counts as 0.4%. So next, I am supposed to be writing some essays. I have this insane gamer mechanical keyboard that I got when I worked in the video game industry, but I will say it makes a very satisfying clicking noise. But I make so many typos on it. It's kind of crazy. My guest grader or whatever, you get like assigned a grader for these bar programs. Oh, listen to that. Nice. Also, I don't know how to type. It's very apparent from watching this video, but in elementary school and grade school, I was never taught how to type with your hands on the right keys. And I feel like being 30, it's just too late for me. You know, I'm just gonna type how I type, but that's also probably why I make so many typos. But my essay grader is always like, oh, go through and proofread. And I'm like, can you guys please just put a spell check feature on this? And sometimes it'll underline things in red, but you know, a lot of the times it's just me fighting for my life out here. All right, 0.6. We have almost made it halfway. Oh, 0.7. Not super sure what happened there, but I guess I completed something or refreshed the page. Trying to keep it funky fresh for y'all with some different angles, but we finished our essays. Now I am moving on to doing some multiple choice. Honestly, I always have a much easier time starting the multiple choice. And I think that's just because, I don't know, I think it's just because once I click start on the multiple choice, you just have to start it and you get into it. Whereas the essay, I just have such a hard time clicking that open file start button. I just dread it. I don't want to do it. I think it's because I know I'll have to go through, read the whole thing, type a bunch of stuff. Even though honestly, I feel like the essays have been somewhat manageable. Like I definitely miss rules and things all the time. But knowing that essentially on the New York bar, you can kind of make some stuff up, which if you're not in law school or you're like me and just didn't know that, I was kind of surprised how many people tell you that you can just make stuff up on the New York bar. But yeah, if you forget a rule in the essay section, it's kind of fair game. Just try and make it as close to the rule as you can, and you can kind of just make up a rule, you know? So pretty crazy, but I guess that is why it's a minimum competency exam, which thank God, I'm happy about that. But I do find the multiple choice just to be a little more, I don't want to say fun, but easy to do. And it's probably for reasons like this. Look at these graphics that they give you on the explanations. The lady in the back kind of looks like Martha Stewart, and the lady in the front with the gun kind of looks like Jeanette McCurdy, but they have some of the most interesting educational graphics I've ever seen. Shout out to whoever got to make those, because they're just so hilarious. If you follow my Instagram, you've probably seen me post on my story about some of the other ones. They're just so funny. Yeah, but usually what I do when I'm doing my multiple choice, I read the question first, right? Like the call of the question, and then I go through the body, top paragraph, highlighting important details based on the call of the question that might be important, whether it's like time frames and dates or ages or mental states and all those fun legal things, just so that way I can hopefully suss out all the important facts of what it is that they're asking me. I find that just helps me stay engaged, especially the more multiple choice I do. Just highlighting as I go along. It's kind of like using your cursor or ruler when you're reading. It just helps me get through the prompt and stay focused, because otherwise I'll just kind of spiral and read the same sentence over and over. And that's just not helpful, especially when, you have 6 hours of multiple choice you have to do on test day. And I guess for those of you who don't know, I'll just go over the structure of the bar. At least in New York, it's a UBE, Universal Bar Exam. They called MPTs. So those are performance tests. They give you a made-up situation and they give you made-up laws, and you apply them as they tell you. They'll be like, write a brief or write a document, and you do that, and it's great. Each one of those is an hour and a half for 3 hours in the morning on the first day. And then the afternoon of the first day, you do 6 essay questions, which is what I already talked about and you saw me practicing. And then the second day is 200 multiple choice. So you do 100 in the morning for 3 hours, and then 100 in the afternoon for additional 3 hours, and then you're done. And I've heard you leave the exam feeling like you failed, and then you just wait 2 months or 3 months, however long it takes, to see if you failed or passed. So it's kind of crazy. It's definitely a long process. Like, nothing about law school I've found has been instantaneous, except for reviewing these multiple choice when I find out if I got it right or wrong. Otherwise, it's a lot of waiting. It's a lot of trying not to stress yourself out while you're waiting to get any results, whether that's for the LSAT or the bar or law school finals, literally anything. It feels like everything takes so long. You kind of just have to get used to performing your best and doing what you can, and then walking out of the room and leaving it behind you so you can go and live your life, which is maybe just a good lesson for anything. It's definitely just one of those things. It would be so nice if we immediately got our scores, but obviously that's not going to happen with essay questions. Finished my multiple choice. This is the point of the day where I just kind of spin around in my chair, trying to keep it going. It's been a long morning. Close. Dang, so close to 69, just went off. But you can see I got 1% less than the average. It is what it is. All of a sudden, 1.5% done today. So that must have been a really big multiple choice, which leads to me laying on the couch. When I'm burnt out and done, I just have to take some time and lay down after sitting in my chair for so long, contemplate my life decisions. You can tell the motivation is starting to dwindle. To try and make things a little more enjoyable, light a candle, change the vibe, just try to find anything so that way I can hop back into studying, have a nice little Christmas candle. I'm taking the February bar, so I'm stuttering. I'm studying during the winter time, which sometimes is nice and sometimes awful. And now you can tell I've made it to the point in my day where I need some toast. I usually try and make a little snack before I eat lunch at some point if my brain is getting really fatigued, or like I said, if I've just had too much coffee, so that way I'll stop shaking and can pay attention. But I don't know, toast just always hits. A little butter, throw some flaky salt on there. You can see that the light is changing in the apartment. It is getting later and later in the day. Wow, filming myself eating was such a choice. Like I said, this is truly just how my study day goes. So I tried to record as much as I could, just so that way we could commiserate together. So hopefully, I don't know, hopefully this is helpful in some way. Maybe it's just cathartic for me. So now we've made it to the part of the day. I'm starting to review some outlines. I'm going to be doing some lectures. I have been trying to use a pen and the tangible book that comes with the study materials instead of the digital files, just so that way, one, to give my eyes a break from looking at the screen. I feel like I'm definitely going to need to get my eyes tested after law school in general, and especially studying for the bar, just staring at a screen for so many hours every day. But I feel like just using a pen and the physical paper helps me stay a little more engaged, helps me to try and just like underline, take some notes, retain some information, learn things for the bar. But I think just mixing it up and finding ways to keep yourself engaged throughout a long day of studying is really helpful. You've seen me take some breaks, I think that is important. Some little treats like toast, rewarding myself for making it through the routine that I have. You know, also having something to do once you're done studying, whether that's going to the gym or reading a book. I've been on such a big fantasy kick recently, which is so nice because I was not reading for fun like during school at all. The last thing I wanted to do was read more. But I don't know what it was about the bar. I was at brunch with a friend and we went to this little bookstore. There was just this fantasy book and I was like, wow, I have not read fantasy in so long. And I loved the Aragon books growing up. I really enjoyed Harry Potter, even though I didn't read it till high school, and we don't talk about She Who Shall Not Be Named anymore. Don't know why she had to go all crazy, but whatever. And then the Lord of the Rings books, you know, I've just always really loved fantasy books, so I picked it up and the review said a compulsive read. And I said, great, I will compulsively buy this book. It was the first in the Shades of Magic series, if you're curious. And I don't know, it was just like easy to read. It was so nice to do that instead of just scrolling my phone for hours, which is usually what I do. So I don't know, it's just like reinvigorated my joy for reading. So, which is so crazy. It's so nice. And I just have a dream of like owning bookshelves that span the walls and are full of books that I've read or like want to read and actually will read, because I felt like I was in a place where if I was buying any books, I intended to read them. But you know, when you buy a book and you're like, oh, I want to read this and I should read this, but you know you're never going to read it. That's kind of where I was at for so long. So yeah, it's just nice to read something to read it for the sake of enjoying it versus learning something like I'm doing here or an exam or whatever it is. So give yourself the freedom to just read the book you want to read right now, or go to the gym, or do whatever it is you need to do to reward yourself for studying. Now that that's done, another 0.2% off today. Yeah, so close to being halfway done. I'm eating lunch. Kyle made us salads. They're so good. It is time to get into the lectures. At this point in my day, like I said, just finding ways to keep myself engaged. I have a standing desk. I've had one for years because I work from home, but it really helps just to mix it up. So when I'm having a hard time focusing, especially for the lectures, I'll put my desk on standing mode and just get to it because, I don't know, I find it just makes me pay attention, or the act of changing the position of your body. I don't know. Like I said, we've already been studying probably for usually lunch around 1 or 2, so I started at around 9. Been studying for a good amount of time already, so to do all that studying and then have to watch these lectures, and y'all, if you are doing bar prep, you might be able to relate to these lectures, but they are helpful, you know, especially for the classes I haven't taken, but it drives me crazy, that progress bar that they give us. And then these lectures count as one assignment, right? But in the lecture itself, it'll be broken up into like sometimes 8, sometimes up to 20 different videos. And when you finish it, it counts as like 0.2%. And you remember at the beginning of this video, I read that outline and it counted as 0.4%. And I'm like, who decided what percentage these different tasks get? Because I could spend 2 hours on lectures going through all this stuff and it counts as 0.2%. And that, I don't know, it just feels so demoralizing to do all that and then see your progress bar barely tick up. It's not about the progress bar, it's about learning the material, so that way we only have to take the bar once, or if you're taking it again, so we can just pass the bar and so we can be done with this. Like, I truly cannot wait for the day to be done studying for the bar. It is gonna be so nice. Also, you can see we're doing laundry. Well, Kyle's doing laundry, I'm obviously studying. We have our records and bookshelf next to us. You can see the puzzle I've been trying to finish. Honestly, all the parts of the puzzle on the table, I did the parts that were easy and now it's just black and gray pieces and I've lost all my motivation to do it. So it's so hard. It is literally so hard. Anyway, we're standing and we're studying and I tried to manage the cables. I swear I tried to manage these cables at my desk, y'all, but they're just not giving. Kyle's checking in on what I'm doing. So funny because his desk and like office setup is in our like little guest room area and mine is just out in the living room. So he'll come in and check on me. He's making sure I'm still alive out there. And if you're enjoying this video right now, it would mean so much to me if you would like and subscribe. You know, it really helps the channel. And also I've mentioned in some other videos, but I have a personal goal of beating Columbia Law School's YouTube subscriber count. I just think that'd be very funny and I'm a little petty. So please do that that. It helps so much. And I just appreciate you for being here. You also don't have to if you don't want to, but you know, if you do want to, feel free. You can tell the light has changed so much. It's not glaring to the windows anymore. I'm back in a sitting mode. Still more lectures. Just can't be standing the whole time. I just go back and forth, honestly. Sitting, standing, sitting, standing, sitting, standing. Peanut butter and apples. Going through my outlines. Again, another snack. I'm realizing I snack a lot. This video is making me realize I snack a lot. The candle's still going. The vibes are high. Just trying to make it through this day. Listening to this man talk about family law, which is only an essay subject. Some subjects are on the multiple choice and the essays, and some are just on the essays. Oh, more footage of me eating. So crazy. What a crazy choice for me to snack so much on a day when I'm recording myself and show y'all. Back on the couch. Yeah. That face says a lot. You can tell I'm over it. So ready for the day to be done. We're almost there. So close. Another new angle. Still lectures. It really just be that way, y'all. Yeah, if you are studying for the bar right now, or studying for anything, I guess, you know, having that routine is really helpful. The bar is a lot, so definitely pace yourself. Don't burn yourself out. It's so annoying. Everyone always says, you know, it's a marathon, not a race, but that is so true. It is just so much content. America loves their laws. Well, not really. They don't like following them, but they love to make them. You know, America has so many laws. So there's just so much to get through. So it's okay. Some things might come more naturally. Some things might not. As in many things in life, it's okay. Take the wins where you can. You have time to improve. Set yourself up for success. I think that is such a big thing. Give yourself grace. You know, there's going to be some days where you are so over it and so tired. I definitely know I've had those days, and then I have this battle within myself of feeling like I need to be doing something and I should be working so that way I don't fail. It's mostly driven by fear, honestly, the fear of failing this test. But then also just needing to listen to my body and letting my brain have a break. It's so important. You know, rest is not being unproductive. Actually, your body needs it, your brain needs it. It's okay. It's okay to take a break and come back or be done for the day and then just go after it on a day when you have more energy. It really is just such a process. It is just so crazy. It's so crazy trying to do something like this. And I think sometimes I forget about that, right? Like if you're taking the bar, you're working or you're doing whatever, like, but especially for the bar, I feel like, you know, this is so hard and not a lot of people do it, right? Like not a lot of people want to go to law school. Like it's a really hard exam. And I think when you're in law school, it's so easy to just look around and compare yourself, or everyone's doing it, so it doesn't seem very exceptional, but it's a hard thing to do. And you're challenging yourself and putting a lot of time and effort into it. And I think just in general, right? Like putting a lot of time and effort into anything is scary because if it doesn't work out, you've poured so much of yourself into it. But I don't know, I think it's very noble to have tried something that is hard. So congrats to you. I'm proud of you. Whatever that endeavor is in your life, whether it's the bar or just law school or applying to law school or work or home or family or redecorating, whatever, literally whatever it is. Like it's good. So it's okay to try things that are hard and challenging and throw yourself into them, and I hope they work out for all of us. The best way for me to handle this challenging thing is just to keep trucking along, no matter how much I am over these videos. And these lectures. All right, last assignment for the day, which is usually reviewing the outline for whatever lecture it is that you did. And so honestly, by this point in the day, I'm just gonna download the outline, maybe give it a skim. For me, it's more just I have it saved on a file in my computer, which is good enough. And I can review it some other time when my brain is not so tired. Yay! The nice thing about these companies is they do kind of like give you a little great job, woo, finish for the day, which just feel nice. I hate that it says back to the grind though. I'm really not a big rise and grind mentality person, but it's nice to get some affirmation. We hit our 2%, took about eight hours. It's probably like 9 to 6 p.m. with some breaks. Yeah, but thanks for watching. I hope this video was helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.